Sir.
Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, I'm extremely grateful to the honourable members who have spoken on this motion. Obviously, a very large number of members are concerned with regard to the future economic development of the state of Andhra Pradesh. The undivided state of Andhra Pradesh has been one of the most progressive regions in the country. And I have not the least doubt that both the units which have been carved out, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, in the long run will certainly be amongst the fastest growing states as far as India is concerned. But while we discuss this, we have to bear in mind that there are several issues which are of extreme political and at times even emotional sensitivity, as two of my colleagues in the ministry also, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu yesterday and Mr. Chaudhary today, expressed their sentiments. It's obvious that when we discuss in the public domain and the political domain issues relating to region, to caste, to religion, to language, water, each one of these issues has an ability to throw up a lot of sensitivity and become extremely emotive. And therefore, each one of us has the responsibility of approaching these issues with a sense of fairness and justice. In the past also, states in India have been bifurcated. Punjab was bifurcated into Haryana and Himachal Pradesh. All the three units which were carved out have done extremely well. And I belong to a political party which has conventionally believed that smaller states are better administrative units. When the first NDA government under Mr. Vajpayee was in power, we decided to create three states, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. Virtually unanimous resolutions were passed in the larger assemblies. There were different political parties in power in each of the states. After consultation and in a consensual manner, the states were bifurcated. That bifurcation did not result in any kind of a political crisis. It was by and large politically extremely smooth. My friend Mr. Jairam Ramesh, who is absent today, has raised a few questions when he opened the debate yesterday, particularly with regard to the proceedings of this House and also the Reorganization Act, as to what is the position with regard to each of the issues raised therein. He's also the author of a book on the story of bifurcation. Yesterday he claimed that he was also the author of the bill. It's a different matter that the strategy that he devised at that time as an expert on Andhra Pradesh resulted in Congress losing its deposit in all the seats. But that apart, where do we stand today? We stand today at a stage where the city of Hyderabad, which is an important commercial center, as a part of the bifurcation, goes to the state of Telangana. And that has created a situation where Andhra Pradesh has lost out on revenue. Even though in the long run, the state of Andhra Pradesh is bound to recover. If there is good governance in Andhra Pradesh, if they planned the affairs as are being planned by the government headed by Shri Chandrababu Naidu, and the sense of entrepreneurship of the people of that state itself, the state in the long run will get out of the revenue deficit situation that it is currently in. But for the present, it needs more urbanization, it needs the capital, it needs more industries to come in. And for some period, the state of Andhra Pradesh needs a hand-holding. And I would like to assure the honorable members of this House that the central government will fulfill all the responsibilities that it has in hand-holding the state of Andhra Pradesh so that it can recover to a level where the state then goes and progresses on its own. Sir, we must bear in mind how the state finances and the central government finances are to operate. The central government finances today predominantly come from certain categories of taxation, which is the direct income tax, which is central excise, customs duty, and service tax. Additionally, there are some non-taxation methods of raising revenue. The taxation that the central government has, from that taxation pool, by virtue of devolution, monies also go to the state government. The states have their own areas of revenue, their own taxations. That's the constitutional scheme under the Constitution, the state taxation areas. And in addition to the taxation a state collects, a state gets its share of devolution from the central taxes. Now, the constitutional mechanism is very clear that a state government has its own resources, plus it gets its own devolution, and then further support grants and support to the schemes, etc., from the central government. After having devolved those taxes, the central government, and there I would like to join issue with my friend from the Trinamool Congress, Mr. Sekendu Shekhar Roy, when he yesterday said the central government can just print currency and distribute it. I don't think that is the way a national economy is going to be run. 42% of central revenues now go to the states. The balance 58%, which is with the central government, the central government has to take care of the country's defense. It has the huge bill of salaries and pensions. It has to repay back and service the loans, interest plus other loans. It then has to support out of this 52% a lot of central sector schemes which are operated through the state governments. And after doing all that, the central government has a deficit. This year the deficit is 3.9%. And in case there is a larger economic management of the country, that there is some sort of a crisis, then the central government has to spend more. For instance, when the current Honorable President was the finance minister and we had the global economic crisis, he had to spend 3% extra as an extra stimulus. And therefore our borrowings went up to 6.5%. So lakhs of crores have to be borrowed every year by the central government in order to operate its own finances. And therefore the size of the cake is limited, the size of the pie is limited. It's very easy in a debate of populism to say, all right, X state wants extra amount of money, give it to X, Y, Z, B, C, D, so that we can please everybody. But then let's bear in mind that India, that is the union of states, the union has to survive so that you can have India as a union of states. You can't have a financially vulnerable union that India eventually becomes only a confederation of states. That is not India's constitutional structure. It's a union of states. And therefore, to defend the country, to support itself, India must also, the central government must also have sufficient resources available for itself after having supported each state government. Now, the framers of the Constitution, when they framed the structure as a part of federal India, how does the center assist the states? Are we today in a position that the central government can say, all right, for instance, a government can say, a UPA government or an NDA government can say, I have a friendly party or my own party in a dozen states, I will give them more money and I will give less money to some other political party. Our constitutional structure does not permit that. So whether it was the UPA government or the NDA government, there has to be constitutional norms in which monies have to devolve to the states. And the constitutional norm was prescribed for in the Constitution itself, which is Article 280. Now, under Article 280, a constitutional commission called the Finance Commission is created. It reviews the situation every 5 years. And after every 5 years, it decides how the center is going to help the states. It lays down the formula. And if I give a particular assistance to a state X, I give it to state Y. But the Finance Commission is equally concerned about the health of some of the states. For example, Andhra Pradesh in this case, the undivided Andhra Pradesh was a very progressive state. It was a revenue surplus state. And therefore, Andhra Pradesh would ordinarily have been dealt with as an undivided state on the same pattern as, let us say, Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Maharashtra. These were healthy states. But the division created a situation that the more lucrative part has gone to Telangana because of Hyderabad, and undivided Andhra Pradesh, being a financially healthy state, unfortunately became a revenue deficit state. And becoming a revenue deficit state was one of the main reasons which was a cause of worry in this house, where my friends on the other side were sitting here and we were sitting on the other side. And even though many of us were in support of creation of the state of Telangana, we were equally concerned with the principle of fairness that when you create a new state of Andhra Pradesh, Simandra as it was being called at that time, it has to be a viable state. What is the kind of assistance which is going to be given to the state of Andhra Pradesh itself? And while discussing this, in the Act, then in the Honorable Prime Minister's statement, a number of commitments are then made to the state of Andhra Pradesh that this is how we will take care of the interest of Andhra Pradesh. And I am going to candidly place each one of them before this Honorable House as to the kind of commitments. Section 9 says that center shall assist the successor state of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, both of them, to raise additional police forces. Section 30 deals with an issue which Telangana has been now raising, which is that the high courts must also eventually separate. The high courts have to eventually separate. But that is once the capital comes up, the high court shifts there, etc. Or if the states can come to some form of an arrangement between them, the center would like a situation. Section 46 was a very important provision. How is the revenue going to be distributed? and I'll just read out one or two sentences of section 46. The award made by the 13th Finance Commission to the existing state of Andhra Pradesh shall be apportioned between the successor state by the central government on basis of the population ratio and other parameters. Which is, if I remember correctly, it's 58 and 42%. Yes, sir. 58 in favor of Andhra Pradesh. Provided that on the appointed day, the President shall make a reference to the 14th Finance Commission to take into account the resources available to the successor states and make a separate award for each of the successor states. Notwithstanding anything, etc., there will be a package for backward districts. Then there have to be adequate incentives for Rayalaseema. That's a commitment which has been made, and that is one of the responsibilities, I am straight away conceding, of the central government to make sure that these steps are taken in order to do this hand-holding as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. Thereafter, section 90 onwards are the several other. 84 speaks of 2 river boards to be created. Then section 90 says the Polavaram irrigation project is declared as a national project, because that's an important project which will bring water to a large part of the state itself. Though some of my friends from Orissa have some issues with regard to that, but that's a commitment made in an act which has been virtually unanimously. But the act. You see.
Thank you for yielding, Sir Finance Minister. Sir, the point is, if Bhadrachalam, there's my party's MLAs. He has been elected. He has been assigned to one state. The people who voted for him have now been shifted to the other state. His voters are in the other state. He sits in an assembly in this state. Now, sir, this is the anomaly that has happened. So we made a demand saying that permit this person to sit in both the assemblies. So you permit him, sir. Now this is the anomaly. So you please understand this anomaly. So, I mean, this has to be resolved. That's what I'm beseeching.
I think on a lighter note,
okay.
It's not very surprising that Marxists and Marxist MLAs have an identity issue these days.
They have a multiple identity. So you'll have a multiple identity there.
That is a national identity.
So as far as I must clarify, there are issues. I'm straight away, Orissa has an issue. It's before the Supreme Court. We'll all be bound by the judgment. Bhadrachalam may have an issue. But once an act is passed by Parliament, the central government can't take a contrarian position. The act simply says that the Polavaram irrigation project is declared as a national project. Now, I can't take up a position which is to the contrary because it's an act of Parliament. And therefore, unless there is some order setting this act aside or some other judgment of the Supreme Court, the central government has to go by the act of Parliament. No, Ramesh, I'm going to separately tell you what we are going to do for the Polavaram project.
Ramesh, listen.
I'm not going away from this debate. I'll certainly tell you each one of. I'm first reading out what the commitments in the act are.
No, Anubhav, listen.
Then, sir.
Listen. No, listen to me.
Then there is a 13th schedule in section 93, progress of several institutions as per the 13th schedule. Then fiscal measures and tax measures in section 94. Now, these are the details of the commitment as far as the act is concerned. Then the Prime Minister, when the debate went on, what was not in the act, and Mr. Venkaiah Naidu has explained at length, the then Honorable Prime Minister gave an additional assurance that we will grant also a special status as a part of the 6-point statement that he read out. The 13th schedule to the Act lists a large number of commitments because most of the central institutions and central sector supported projects, highways, etc. were closer to Hyderabad. Now, if all national institutions go to Hyderabad and to one state, then what happens to the other projects? The 13th schedule specifically gave a list of a large number of these institutions and projects like AIIMS, IIM, etc., which are sought to be established in the successor state itself. Now, these were broadly between the statement of the Honorable Prime Minister and the Act passed by Parliament, the commitments which have been made. Now, when we started working, and we are in the second year, as far as these commitments are concerned, on each one of them, let me first tell you how the issue has operated, and I'll come to the issue of the special status. And I'll certainly seek a solution or a guidance from the honorable members, and I'll just indicate the problems that are there, which have arisen because of a very particular constitutional issue. As far as our commitment to honor each one of these commitments is concerned, it's absolute. There are no ifs and buts. Now, with regard to each of these institutions to be established, that's an easier part, so I'll deal with it first. IIT to be established in Andhra Pradesh. The IIT has been established, it is functioning. NIT to be established, it has been established since September 2015, it is functioning. IIM to be established, academic session has already commenced from the year 2015 itself.
No, listen, please. No, please. Listen, please. Sunia, listen. Listen to it. Listen and then.
So, we are still just 2 years away, and I am reading out to show a seriousness that each one of these institutions that we have promised have either been established or we have asked the state government for land. Land is being identified and we are moving forward in each one of them. So IIT established and functioning, NIT established and functioning, IIM established and functioning, Indian Institute of Science academic session has commenced under August 2015. This is Mr. Chaudhary's own department. As far as Central University in Andhra Pradesh is concerned, Andhra Pradesh government has finalized the site and offered the site to the central government, and therefore the steps are to be taken. Triple IIT commenced from the year 2015-16. So each one of the institutions which we have said, a tribal university, both in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, lands have been offered, in Andhra Pradesh, and in Telangana, the state government has informed us that action is being taken very soon to hand over land to us. As far as urban development is concerned, Visakhapatnam Metro, the DPR has been, is currently under appraisal of the Urban Development Ministry. In principle approval, it has been granted. The issue of railway zone, it's a very sensitive issue, and I'm sure now that Mr. Suresh Prabhu, whose deemed state is Andhra Pradesh, he will certainly have the matter which is being examined at a high level by his ministry. Then coal blocks to be allotted as far as power projects, etc. are concerned. I have a whole list. Vijayawada Airport to be established. NHAI has, Mr. Gadkari has announced a huge package as far as national highways are concerned. So power sector, road sector, in each one of those 13th schedule commitments which have been made, either they have been established and are functioning, where land is required, in some cases land is being offered, and there is not a single institution in that list where the center has any desire either in the state of Telangana or Andhra Pradesh to go back on it. This involves a very large expenditure, but that expenditure also gets spread over a period of time, and the central government is committed to undertake each one of those expenditures. Sir, now under the Krishi Sinchai Yojana, and this is the question, there are 8 projects of Andhra Pradesh which are being cleared. In addition to this, the state government and its representatives have had a series of discussions with me with regard to the financing of the Polavaram projects. Because irrigation normally is a state subject. But in this case, since it's a central subject, some funding, and I'll read out the details of the funding just now, on that account have been given by us last year. And we have now come broadly to an arrangement. I am currently on the Polavaram project. As far as Polavaram project is concerned, we've organized meetings and a discussion between the NABARD and the state government. And because of, in order to find resources, NABARD in the first instant is going to provide continuously for the resources which are required for the Polavaram projects. And therefore, that arrangement is at a fairly advanced stage. The state government directly, I have personally spoken to the NABARD, the state government has been in touch with NABARD, several meetings have been held, and action on that front also is being taken. In addition to that, under the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, there are 8 projects worth 1,818 crores, out of which 610 crores is the central share for the state of Andhra Pradesh, which have already been sanctioned and their action has proceeded. I can give to any member who is necessary. I've got the list of all the 8 projects with me. Sir, as far as some of these commitments are concerned, because building a capital takes several years, in backward regions it takes several years, and as I indicated, after 42% of the central resources go to the state, within the funds available, we have to find funds in order to fulfill our commitment under this act. And I have, in the last 2 years, and there have been, and this is not the final account, these are payments being made in a pipeline. And these pipeline payments for backward areas, for Rayalaseema, for the state capital, will all be made. For instance, one of the key items in the act is that from 2015 to 2020, the 14th Finance Commission will apply. I'll deal with how much the 14th Finance Commission has given, taking these requirements into consideration. But what happens to the 10-month period when the state was created in the month of June 2014 till 31st of March 2015? When for that 9-10 month period, the 13th Finance Commission was applicable. The resource gap because of loss of revenue had to be compensated as far as the central government is concerned. Now, on that issue, there is some discussion between the center and the state with regard to the nature of the resource gap itself. The state has indicated one figure. The central's assessment of that figure is being examined. As a part of this, about 2,803 crores has already been paid to the state. Further amounts have to be further paid to the state, subject to the verification of the 2014-15 resource gap. There is some different assessment with regard to the resource gap. We are trying to converge to a solution. We have come very close to that solution. But the resource gap of 14-15 is a central responsibility under the Act and is going to be fully honored. Part of the payment has already been made. And the balance part which we will have to make will also have to be spread over the next 2 to 3 years, for the simple reason the state will continue getting a stream of revenue and the central will also have resources rather than cut down from some other developmental expenditure and divert it. The backward area grant, Again, a pipeline, it has to be continuously given. 700 crores on that account have already been sent.
Other districts, sir.
That's
Now
all right.
we are giving only 50 crores sir, per district. That is
You see,
350 crores per
Ramesh,
year. Comparatively, that
I am
is
only
very,
saying- you see-
is a very nominal amount, sir.
The quantum of
Okay.
700 crores has been given.
No, that's for state.
The quantum is an account because between various states at the center, the quantums are sorted out. For example, capital. On account of capital, where construction, because some of the principal buildings like Raj Bhavan, High Court, Secretariat, etc., 2,050 crores has already been given to the state.
No, let him come.
Agree, sir.
No,
I would like to clarify here. Undoubtedly, as per the cooperative
No, you
federal
are the-
system,
you are a
he has
member of the
yielded now,
Council
sir.
of Ministers.
Since he has yielded, kindly permit me, sir. About 2,050 crores of capital. Out of that, 1,000 crores is given for Guntur and Vijayawada underground sewage system, sir. That is not a part of capital. There are so many contentious issues. There is no doubt about that. My request is, let us agree to pass a resolution to take up.
No, let him
to-
complete.
No, sir, to take up also a fiduciary response, to discharge the fiduciary responsibility of the central government, not only with the
Let him complete.
true letter and spirit of the act, all these things, whatever we
No.
can read, we
Chowdhury,
can read,
you
sir.
are a member
No,
of the
sir,
Council of
along with
Ministers.
various states, so
No,
many
no,
things are
don't-
given. In specific,
don't do it here.
Because the state of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana both got affected, I request finance
No,
minister to come up with some
Mr.
timeline, sir.
Chowdhury,
No, sir, sir,
it is
let me
joint
complete, sir. My
responsibility.
request, I am only requesting, because 2 years have passed, still the reconciliation is going on. I have been involved in that. So my request is that we have to report to this house, August house, that within 30 days or within 45 days, because the account, this is not the simple arithmetics. This is not rocket
please.
science. So my request is, let us pass a resolution that we also will discharge the fiduciary responsibility
No,
to
please.
safeguard the Andhra Pradesh, sir. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
No,
Sir,
no, please. Let's not go. Sit down, sit down. Arrest, sit down, not going on record. No, please. Chowdhury. No, please. No, sit down, sit down. No, Minister of the... See, Chowdhury, you are council minister. No, please, let the minister complete. Please, sit down. I'm not allowing. No, please, sit down, sit down. Sit down, sit down. Let the minister complete. Sit down, sit down. Arey, no, come and sit down. No, okay, sit down. Okay, sit down, please. No, please take your seat. No, listen to the minister.
Sir, I have no hesitation in telling my colleagues from all sections of the House that in the calendar of center-state relationship, this is not the last day and this is not the last amount.
Yeah.
There is a pipeline.
Yeah,
Projects take time and therefore payments are spread over a time. So the capital construction is to begin. We have already given some funds on that capital construction, and certainly depending on how the project is proceeding, within the limits of the central government's spending ability, certainly Polavaram, you had asked me. I have said we have further funding is being arranged through the NABARD route, but on account we have already given 850 crores, so that Polavaram is not a project which will get finished in 1 year. So Polavaram will be spread over years. From the central funds, we have also given some funds as far as Polavaram is concerned. Now, on account on these heads mentioned in the Act, some 6,403 crores has been given, and this is all as a part of the pipeline, and therefore further funding itself is going to take place. Now, as far as tax, 850. So far,
Not 6,000.
plus NABARD
Honorable, listen
funding is
to-
going to be organized.
It's already said. It is already clear. No, please. No. Let him complete. At least let him complete.
Sir, with regard to the tax concessions, in the budget of 2015-16, I had announced two particular tax concessions. One was an additional depreciation under section 32(1), and the other was the additional investment allowance under section 32(AD) for those investing in the two successor states. And let me remind my friends on the other side that these two tax concessions, my friends from Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Chaudhary, Mr. Ramesh and other colleagues have been pressing me that these are not sufficient, more must be given. But,
Now please listen. Please. Now please listen. Arey suniye. Listen to reply. Now anyhow you listen to the reply. Please listen to reply. No, you listen. Don't pause. Sit down. Yeah, let him say. No, please. No. Now see. No, see, sit down. No, sit down. Sit down, listen. No, listen. No, this is it. No. Mamali got sit down. Arey Baba, sit down. No, sit down, please. Sit down. No, not going on record. Nothing will go on record other than what the finance minister says. But sit down. Sit down, I am not allowing you. No, sit down, I am not allowing. No, I want to tell the honorable ministers and the member, not go, listen. Not allowing. No, sit down. No, listen to me. Baba, sit down. I am not able to understand you. Sit down. No, I am, now you sit down. Now you sit down. Please sit down. Arey, please sit down. No, I am on my legs. That you have to see. You first ask him to obey. This is not the way. You first obey. No, what I am saying is, listen. No, sit down. I am on my legs. Sit down. Don't do that, please. No, what I am only saying is, no, listen. No, not going on record. Sit down. That's not going on record. Sit down. Please sit down. Yes, Baiti, sit down. Arey, urkarunga. Sit down. Now, please. No. I am telling you this. See, what I am only saying is, this was a discussion which about 23 honorable members participated. So, naturally, the finance minister will have to react to and respond to the many points. And let me. Now, please, if he is very, very liberal and he is responding to every point and explaining. Suppose, now let him complete. After that, if you have one or two clarification, I can understand that. But interrupting means it is not good. Yes, I scolded him. I told the minister, don't do it. I also told him it is joint responsibility. I told him also. I told the same. You see the record. I told the minister he cannot do it. No, please. No. If he is yielded, no, I tell you, see. No, but I tell you, it is not used. No, but Chaudhary ji, you are my friend. It is very unusual that when the finance minister is speaking, a member from his own ministry asking question is very unusual. That is all what I am saying. Very unusual. Now sit down. Rao, I will allow you ask question after he finishes. Now, I will allow you ask a question, one question asked after he finishes, no problem. Now, finance minister, please proceed.
Yeah.
We have the private members' business also. That is my worry. Please.
I was mentioning that two important tax concessions in 2015-16 we've announced, the state government has asked for more. But let me remind my friends that when I announced this, and this is for Renukaji, for you to seriously introspect, your party officially opposed both these concessions that I gave in the other house. It's a part of the speech of the most eminent member there, who's also the chairman of the Standing Committee on Finance. So it was a well-considered opposition. And the argument was, if you give concessions to one state, then investment from neighboring states will flow into that state. And the neighboring states will suffer. And therefore, why are you giving these concessions? Therefore, when you say that these are insufficient, the state government tells me these are insufficient.
You cannot interrupt now. You ask a question after he finishes. No, no, please.
I now come to the...
You are not making a point. What is the point? Not going on record. I will allow you to ask a question after he finishes. It is not going on record. Ramendra Rao, it is not going on record. This is not to be taken up emotionally. You have to tackle it reasonably with logic. Sit down.
This is a very serious matter for Andhra Pradesh.
Sit down. Arey, sit down. Ramesh, you sit down. What is your problem? Sit down. No, Renukaji, please don't do this. Ramesh, you are ruling party member. Why are you doing this? You see, your aim should be to ensure that it is smoothly going on.
Sir.
And don't interrupt ruling party members, I am telling you.
Sir,
Please.
I have only to restate one position. As far as the Act is concerned, I have given, it is work in progress, and we are trying to honor the commitments which have been made by this Honorable House and the other House through the Act of Parliament as far as both the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana are concerned. This brings me to a contentious issue which was not a part of the Act but a part of the then Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Monsoon ji's statement, which was made in the House, that the state will be given a special status. Now, the special status really means that as far as central sector schemes are concerned, the share of the states will remain 10% and 90% will have to be borne by the centre. Ordinarily, there are several schemes which are 100% supported by the centre. There were some schemes which used to be supported 70% by the centre and 30% by the states. Now the Chief Minister's Committee has decided that this will be 60-40. So for a normal state, the sharing is 60 versus 40. But for a special category state, it would be 90 and 10. What is really the issue? And I think that is why I said that issues relating to language, caste, religion, region, water, these are very sensitive issues. And therefore, within the framework of center-state relations, we function, and that's a problem. I am not saying no to the aspiration of my learned friends, because that's also a commitment made by the Prime Minister, and therefore we have to consider what is to be done in that matter. Article 280 of the Constitution prescribes for the setting up of a finance commission every 5 years, which will decide each of these issues. Yesterday, Jairam raised the issue that when Mr. Vajpayee created the 3 states of Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand was granted a special category status. Because under the terms of the then Finance Commission, which was applicable, the National Development Council, NDC, had the authority to decide which state gets a special category status. And Northeast states, and hill states conventionally have been given special category status. And since out of the 3 states which were created, Uttarakhand was a hill state which always fell into that category, the NDC under the then Finance Commission decided to confer a special category status to Uttarakhand. The same facility was not granted to either Jharkhand or to Chhattisgarh. That is because of the hill state category of Uttarakhand. Bihar has always demanded a special category status. Orissa has demanded a special category status. Several states have demanded it. And that issue then gets referred and works within the parameters of the whatever are the recommendations of the Finance Commission. The conventional structure of the Finance Commission recommendations till the 13th Finance Commission used to be that earlier it would be 24% of the state share or 28 or 32%, and 32% was the maximum. And they would say, out of the balance 68% of the center, you have enough money, therefore support some state as a special category state, bear an extra expense on its behalf. So instead of 30%, that state will have to pay only 10% to the central sector schemes. That's the net effect of it, because the state has inadequate revenue. Now, when this issue went to the 14th Finance Commission, and that is an issue which went to the 14th Finance Commission after Dr. Manmohan Singh's statement. Several states represented, including this, after the division, they said that the renewed architecture that we are finding of the center-state relationship as far as finances is concerned is going to be somewhat different. And in this renewed architecture, after considering this, so as to have clarity, I'll just read 2 small paragraphs from what the Finance Commission said. The Finance Commission said, the chapter is titled Horizontal Balance. They said, we did not make a distinction between special and general category states in determining our norms and recommendations. We believe that while there are certain common factors that impact cost disability and fiscal capacity of states, there exist circumstances that are unique to individual states. Our endeavor has been to take a comprehensive view of these commonalities and special characteristics of individual states while making our assessment and recommendation. In our assessment of state resources, we have taken into account the disabilities arising from constraints unique to each state to arrive at the expenditure requirement. In this regard, we have observed that the northeastern and hill states have several unique features that have a bearing on their fiscal resources and expenditure, such as low level of economic activity, remoteness and international borders. Our objective has been to fill the resource gap of each state to the extent possible through taxation devolution. However, we have provided post-devolution revenues, deficit grants to state where devolution alone could not cover the assessed gap, which means everybody gets 42%, but those who are still deficit will get over and above this 42% also. So the northeast and the hill states get it, and amongst the major states, West Bengal will get it, Kerala will get it, and Andhra Pradesh will get it. So that is the effect of this paragraph. Many states in their submission suggested that the intrastate inequality should be factored into the devolution formula or in determining grants instead of only broad indicators such as per capita income being considered. In this context, some of these states also highlighted the areas within the states as identified in Article 371 of the Constitution. Now, finally, we are of the view that intrastate inequality is within the policy jurisdiction of the states and provisioning of adequate resources to tax devolution to enable them to address the intrastate inequalities in any effective manner. So they said northeast and hill states are a special category. The other states which have revenue deficit will follow an alternate formula, and our alternate formula is that they will get 42% as any other state, but they will get over and above this 42% as revenue deficit plus other grants, so that the disability that exists in these states could be done away with. Accordingly, for West Bengal, Kerala and Andhra Pradesh, over and above 42%, they factored in this other grants. The total effect of this is that within the framework of the 14th Finance Commission, I have made out a chart, and this only shows for the, and if we compare it, how does it compare with the 13th Finance Commission, which is 2010 to 2015? In the 14th Finance Commission, the undivided state of Andhra Pradesh, that is both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, got 1,10,725.82 crores. I repeat the figure, 1,10,725.82 figures. Now you divide this in the ratio of 58 and 42%. Andhra gets 58. So Andhra Pradesh got under the 13th Finance Commission 64, this is notionally 64,575.30. Now, as a part of the alternative architecture that the Finance Commission started, keeping this deficit in mind, 42 plus deficit plus grants, so that some special position is retained by Andhra Pradesh, the handicap is covered up. For 15 to 20, how much did this 64,000 become? It becomes 2,69,010.65. So instead of 64,000, as a part of the new architecture, this becomes 2,69,000.65. 2,06,000, sorry. 2,06,910.65. So that is the jump that it takes place. Now let me say this. Should we conclude the issue with this? Because I am aware of the emotion and the political sensitivity of the issue. Therefore, I would urge you, we can resort to political point scoring, but this is a sensitive area of region. It has implications of water, it has implications of various other things, Polavaram and so on. The state of Andhra Pradesh has been created separate from Telangana, and Telangana has been separated, it has been divided, and it's clear politically against the wishes of the people of the Simandra region, which is present Andhra Pradesh. Their grievance is, you created a state, you took away the more lucrative part away from us, you made us deficit, you then gave us a certain set of assurances. Now at least honor those assurances, that's their case. The response is, we will respond to each one of those assurances, but we have a constitutional award post that which has changed the material, redefined the architecture. Does it close the issue as far as I am concerned? I am not closing the issue, because I am aware of the fact that with tax buoyancy, economy is improving, our revenues also improve. So what you lose out because of a changed architecture, even though what you are getting is much higher, can it otherwise be compensated? Because this is the entire process of creating a developed state out of Andhra Pradesh is going to take years. The central government's ability, this is our third year. Please bear in mind, we are adversely affected by international global crisis. We are adversely impacted by 2 years of drought. We are adversely impacted as far as our revenues are concerned by 10% extra going to the states. we are adversely affected now with 1,02,000 crores this year going to the pay commission recommendations besides OROP. But as in the coming years, because the capital construction, the industrialization, the projects, this is a pipeline which is on. We have given some assistance, we have given some incentives, we are making arrangements for your irrigation and other factors itself. It's an ongoing process. And therefore, the hand-holding of the state of Andhra Pradesh, and if they feel at any stage that we are losing out because of the changed architecture, then how it can be adequately compensated so that industrialization, building, urbanization of the state, as also irrigation, which are the three proper, this thing, certainly the center would go to any extent to hold the hand as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. And I would urge all my friends on both sides, keeping the sensitivity of the people of Andhra Pradesh in mind and this constitutional position. This is a developmental issue. Let's not make adequate, try and make adequate political capital out of this issue. We will support the state of Andhra Pradesh to the fullest extent that the center has committed.
No names. Okay. Yeah.
Kept quiet during the Honorable Finance Minister's speech, but I have some issues. With your permission, sir, we have heard Honorable Finance Minister's speech with rapt attention. We are extremely grateful to him to have conceded the fact that some real hand-holding has to be done for the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, in his speech, he has accepted the fact that because of the historical reasons, the fiscal deficit will be inherent in the state of Andhra Pradesh. What he has told us today is that because of that, they have given two minor tax incentives which are not very substantial, number one. And number two, as per the recommendation of the Finance Commission, the other states will get a ratio of whatever the 60-40 devolution.
Andhra will get more, he said.
Yes. But the three states, the Andhra Pradesh, Kerala and West Bengal will get something more.
And in addition to that, you offered.
So this is one aspect. What is more important? So this has not been quantified. Sir, this has not been quantified. Number one.
Not mislead the House.
Sir,
this has been quantified for each year by the Finance Commission.
Sir, this is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say, that please hear me out what I'm trying to say. The then Honorable Prime Minister had said a special category status will be given to the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, as he rightly pointed out, that the hill states were given a special category status, even in this Finance Commission, which our state of Andhra Pradesh is not been included. So this is a commitment which has not only been made by the Honorable Prime Minister in the House also, but also at the same time, I believe on the 1st March 2014, a cabinet decision has also been taken. I would like to ask the Honorable Finance Minister, does that cabinet decision stand today or not? Number one. Number two, sir, is that the central assistance share of states, it has been changed after the devolution of central taxes as per the Finance Commission.
Okay.
We would urge and request Honorable Finance Minister and Government of India that even in central assistance, the share of state of Andhra Pradesh should be similar as to the hill states as recommended by the Finance Commission. That is of 1090.
Right. Okay, thank you.
So these are the 2 points that we have made.
Yeah.
And because Honorable Finance Minister has not really addressed in his speech, addressed to the issue of special category status to the state of Andhra Pradesh, we are totally dissatisfied with his reply. Yes. And that is why, sir, we would like to stage a walkout because of that, sir.
Yeah. Now, Sugandhar Sagar. Okay. Ramesh? Ramesh, you are...
Sir, 1 minute.
No, let him, Ramesh. No, Naresh Sagar, Naresh, Ramesh. Ramesh.
Sir, I want some clarification.
Only a question, no.
I want some clarification
Only a
from the
question.
Honorable Finance Minister and Home Minister.
No, Home Minister.
In the Act, 1 minute.
Only,
Sir, in the Act,
Only one thing, Finance
sir, he has given permission to
no,
me.
Ramesh, after Ramesh.
Sir,
I will call you, No,
clarification.
put only a
See,
question.
We should not compare.
You are from the ruling
Yes,
party, put only a
clarification,
question.
sir. We should not to compare to the other states. Our Andhra Pradesh states in the Act itself.
He said in place of 64,000
Yes, sir,
crore,
1 minute,
you
1
are
minute.
getting 2
And
lakh crores.
also-
What are you saying?
River Krishna
Yeah.
board has to be constituted, and also Godavari board has to be constituted, and our assembly reorganization
Yes, I
seats
know.
has been increased, sir. That has not been taken care.
Okay, so then-
I'm requesting.
So you are also working out.
I'm
So
requesting the government, you make it white paper, what has to be done. In future, what
Okay,
is going to
Sukandar
be done.
Shekhar Roy.
Then it will be
Sukandar
good for
Shekhar Roy,
states, sir.
sit down.
I have a point of order.
Point of order?
Yes.
No, 1 second. Let me, one more clarification is needed, 1 or 2. Let me finish with that.
Before that, one
Yeah.
clarification.
I know.
I have one clarification
You-
and one point of order.
You are putting me in. No, you see, I will allow, I will cooperate with every member, but there is a private business also, keep in mind
Yeah,
that.
I will not take time.
Okay,
sir.
now,
Only 2 minutes.
yeah.
First of all, Article 1 has been referred indirectly by the Honorable Finance Minister, and I always learn from him. Whenever he speaks, persons like me always learn. Today also I have learned a lot. But my perception is that he has rightly quoted that India is a union of states. But at the same time, the Honorable Finance Minister has said that India is not a federation.
No, he said it cannot be a
Sir, kindly
confederation.
consult the records. I have heard
Confederation.
It is not a federation. Then-
Confederation. I heard it.
My question is whether India is a unitary state. That is the point I want to raise here. This is
I
number
hear
one.
you.
Number 2, so far.
Constitution is very clear.
So far, Article 280 has been referred to in regarding this Finance Commission at the expiry of every 5 years. We all know all the modalities. Previously, thereafter, the other things were being done by the Planning Commission. Now it is done by another extra constitutional authority, that is Niti Aayog, and most of the financial powers has been usurped by the Finance Ministry, and they are allocating the funds to the states at their whims and fancies. Whether this system should continue.
Okay, now, Anupam Mohanty, put your question only.
So much, sir, for
You want-
giving me the permission
Yeah,
to speak.
yeah.
Sir, I had a lot of expectations from Honorable Minister's reply today, Leader of the House. But I'm very disheartened that yesterday I spoke with so much of emotion, so much of feelings, and all were facts and figures. But still, Honorable Leader of the House didn't consider to reply to any of my queries. Sir, I'll just have two simple questions to Honorable Leader of the House through you, sir. Sir, last year, all the members from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha from Biju Janata Dal, we had gone to meet Honorable Prime Minister with a memorandum from our state regarding the Polavaram issue. And Honorable Prime Minister had committed us that nothing will be done harming to the people of Odisha and without consulting Odisha people, Odisha government. So how can the government continuously say that fundings have been on and it will go on in continuation when the matter is sub judice, the matter is in Supreme Court? So why once and again the government is repeatedly saying that Polavaram project is on without, and till now there has no solution that has been brought up and no effort from the government which exactly can be fruitful. And the second question, sir. Sir, Honorable Leader of the House said that special packages have been given to West Bengal, to Andhra Pradesh. Yesterday I said, how could they miss a small portion, Yeah. Oh, you haven't received?
No, please.
Oh, that's a different thing. But they announced. Sir, I'll complete, sir. How can they miss, how can they ignore Odisha that comes in between West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh? And when can Honorable Leader of the House, sir, can Honorable Leader of the House say me that the committees, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on
why
Commerce,
the 3 states are coming.
Sir, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Commerce, which has clearly said, I'll quote again, sir, that I quoted yesterday, the quote, sir, the committee recommends that special category status be extended to industrially backward states like Bihar, Odisha and Jharkhand.
Okay.
So will
What is the
Honorable Leader of
reaction?
the House will say that he defies this, he denies this recommendation? If not, then why he is not mentioning
Okay,
Odisha's
okay.
name?
Now ready.
And why no special consideration
Ready.
for Odisha?
No, ready.
There are two.
Okay,
sir,
after
there are-
ready, I'll call you.
There are 2 points which I
He's
would
from
like to.
Andhra. He's from Andhra, so.
Sir, 2 points which I would like to bring to the notice of the Honorable Finance Minister through you, sir. Point number 1, Honorable Finance Minister has referred to Article 280 of the Constitution of India. According to Article 280, whatever recommendations that 14th Finance Commission gives to the Government of India, it is only recommendatory in nature, and they are not mandatory on the part of the Government of India to scrupulously follow them in their letter and spirit. Further, sir, 14th Finance Commission had no mandate whatsoever to decide whether Andhra Pradesh should be granted special status or not. Finally, sir, the last point is, till now, all the 11
Private
states
members, that is.
hitherto granted the special status is by virtue of the executive order that has been passed by the Government of India, and not by virtue of the resolution that has been
Okay.
passed in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha.
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
In the instant case, on 1st March 2014, the Central Cabinet has
That is already raised here.
passed a resolution
Yeah, that is-
granting the special status. Therefore,
Sri
even
Achuriji.
today, it is binding on the present government to follow
Yes,
it in later
Sri
spirit, sir.
Achuriji.
Thank you very much, sir.
Achuri.
Sir, I've heard with a lot of attention the Honorable Finance Minister replying, and it says I've always known this is a very complex issue. Since you mentioned that he is from Andhra, what do I do, sir? I was born into an Andhra
But
family. I was born in Chennai.
finance
No, no.
ministry is favoring you very much. Both states you are very much interested,
So,
West
sir-
Bengal and Kerala.
Sir,
He is
in
giving
answer-
special assistance.
in answer to that
You must
question-
thank the finance minister.
No, you're not allowing me
I know-
you're not allowing me to thank him. I'll thank him for one more matter. I'll just tell you. But it's only attending to the question that Mr. Sukendu Roy has also asked about federation or a
No,
unitary. No,
that-
sir.
That is here.
I'm not answering.
Okay.
I'm not answering. I'm only referring to in a lighter vein, sir. In a lighter vein.
Yeah.
When you say that he is from Andhra and therefore you gave precedence, very good. You're good. I'm glad you gave it. I'm not disputing that. But I was born into an Andhra family, but born in Madras General Hospital.
You are not
Tamil Nadu.
bound by any boundaries
Tamil
of the
Nadu.
state.
In the house.
You have become a national. What are you doing?
therefore-
International.
So therefore, do not please label from Andhra.
No,
from this
no.
thing. Don't do that.
Yechuri is
We are
above-
all Indians.
No.
We are all Indians,
Yechuri,
therefore we are not a federation.
Yechuri is above all states' consideration.
So, sir,
Yeah.
coming to the point, sir, I'm grateful for the reply the Honorable Finance Minister gave. I always knew this is a complex subject, but after hearing the reply, I'm feeling that it's much more complex than what I thought, sir. Because I think there are two issues involved in it. One is the question of packages to be given to the states, various states under various categories and various categorizations. That is one issue, which is a very important issue. There's no dispute on that. But there are issues which I agree with him entirely, which cannot be settled now at the end of this. It will be a continuum.
Yeah, that is
And it will continue, and we'll all be discussing that. That is one matter. What we were discussing on this particular thing was what this House and the Parliament promised or legislated for the state of Andhra Pradesh, the special status. Is that being given or not?
No, that is not.
That is the point, sir.
Whatever is in the act, he said he will uphold.
Huh?
No, in the legislation, that is not there. That is he said
Legislation.
whatever is in the act, he will uphold. He said whatever is passed by the parliament,
Agreed.
he is upholding and implementing. With regard to the other thing, he said there is consideration, but he cannot assure. No, that's what he said.
That is the point. The whole debate, sir, this discussion started with that point. I am fully aware. It is not there in the legislation. So I am not saying it's a law that you are violating. No, I'm not saying.
I don't want to disturb you, but in your capacity both as an MP and the leader of a very important political party and with all your experience, I have read out the 14th Finance Commission. And I have also said that this has created a problem because then what happens to Dr. Monsoon Singh's assurance? So if they lose out anything because of that, I can otherwise think in terms of compensating them because at the end of the day, it's a rupee
Yeah.
on a pie issue. But that apart, I reiterate what I had said because I have sympathy. Andhra is special to us because Andhra has lost out as a part of the division. But suggestions have come that Finance Commission reports are recommendatory and should be rejected and could be rejected. Now, as a part of federal India, this time, the Finance Commission recommended 42%. A 10% hike has never been given. It's normally a 2% hike. Now, if the centre reserves the right to reject that reservation, that recommendation, what will happen to federalism in India? A lot of my colleagues felt, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu is here, that ministries in Government of India would lose out on revenues by making it 42%. He remembers it. And my argument in support of the recommendations was that India is a case of shared sovereignty between the centre and the states. Just as the centre has a mandate to rule, the states also have a mandate to rule. Now, because of this problem created in relation to Andhra Pradesh, do we want to set a precedent? I say I reject a part of the report. Please advise us as a leader of a political party.
Through you, sir, to the Honourable Finance Minister, let me tell you, I entirely agree with your sentiment. I would in fact go up to the question of 50-50, 42 to 50, let it come. No, that's a different point. We'll discuss, we'll debate and we'll have our positions. But I entirely agree with that sentiment, sir. There is no question of now saying rejecting that. It has happened, it has happened. Yes, there are problems, we'll try and resolve it together. No, sir, there's only one point. My only question is the conflict arises not because of this issue alone. It also arises because of the assurances given here. Now the point is, how do you settle that? Now that is the issue that I am raising. Yes, I understand there is conflicts and contradictions between the assurances and what else we have heard today, we have discussed today. I don't want to repeat that. But sir, a way out has to be found out. You are the chair. This August House resolved it, not through a legislation, but through a resolution or resolved it or an assurance given here. There is a conflict that needs to be resolved. So that's something which I am urging through you to the government is that you will have to work out a mechanism through which this issue needs to be resolved. Otherwise, it can be a powder keg for continuous discord. And that Mr. Venkaiah Naidu Garu will also know, that the Honourable Finance Minister knows, and that I will also, keep raising, saying that we have said this, because that will be a continuous source that can inflame and ignite at any point. So you require to come to a solution to it. Now, how you want to work on? The government in its own wisdom, the cabinet can make suggestions. If you want our assistance and help, we can also contribute if you think it's worth the while. But nevertheless, this is a larger issue that needs to be resolved. So therefore, having made that promise in this house, how do you assuage that feeling? That is the question now.
Okay. Thank you. Now, Raja, next is your resolution. You want to?
No, one question, sir. After that, we will come to resolution. Sir, wait, sir.
No,
sir,
please, no more.
No,
you are from Telangana, forget it. Oh.
Sir, the demand for a special status to Andhra Pradesh has become a very sensitive political issue in the state of Andhra Pradesh.
That is clear. Why do you say it again? Wasting time.
Including TDP, all parties are agitating, people are agitating. Now the charge against the government
No, you ask a question.
No,
why
the
making biased
question is
statements?
the charge
Everybody
against
knows.
Sir, listen, sir. Charge against the government is running away from the assurance given by the former Prime
Why
Minister.
wasting time like this?
No, I'm not
No,
wasting.
these are all, so
No,
everybody knows.
Yes,
If you have a question, you ask.
That is what I am asking. How government is going to face this problem? How
Government
is-
explained it.
Yeah,
What more you want to
No,
ask?
government has not explained adequately. That's why I am asking the question. This issue has to be squarely faced, sir. People are agitating.
Whatever government
Political
can go,
parties
to
are
what action he
agitating.
has said.
That is, our Venkaiah Naidu
Why
garu
you?
spoke in detail about various schemes and
No.
Finance
You,
Minister
this is
has
not a
spoken.
question. No.
Do you mean to say these all amount to giving a special status to Andhra Pradesh? At least you explain that point. Because you have done so much, does it mean this is
Okay.
almost giving
That is very obvious.
special
Now,
status to Andhra Pradesh?
reply is obvious.
So you explain, sir.
Okay, now please, no, Shiva, no. Now see, with regard to Sugandhar Sagar Roy,
Deputy Chairman,
Sir.
if you don't mind, I have to put one thing on record. Yesterday also.
I am worried about the private members bill. You please say, please say, please say.
I'll take only 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Sir, this is precisely the reason where I insisted earlier that it be part of the bill. It could not. I'm not criticizing now, they are also not there. That's the reason. And subsequently, the entire House should understand 14th Finance Commission is subsequent.
That is explained clearly.
Sir, subsequent recommendation. Had it been the part of the bill, this difficulty would not have come. As Sitaramji has rightly raised the issue, and the Finance Minister also almost, he has given an indication, how do you tackle this typical situation where some assurance is given? What is said in the Act, Minister is saying that you will implement. What is not said in the Act, only assurance, then subsequently constitutional position of accepting 14th Finance Commission, a typical situation arises. How do you meet it? That should be the endeavor of all of us, and then come with some practical solutions so that we can move forward even for the future also. If you try to score political points and all, then people will say you have not put it in the Act. Then they will say you are running away. Nobody should run away. Nobody is running away, sir. What all we could do, the government have done, and the Finance Minister.
He said he will do further.
Yeah, that's what he has said. He will do further.
Yeah. No, I am not allowing anybody. Finance ministers already made it clear. See, it is not final. Ultimately, there will be more consideration. That also he said. And also, he also said that the Finance Commission is subject after the bill. Therefore, nothing more now. But I would also join every member that Finance Minister may be, because of the deficiencies of the Andhra Pradesh state, be more considerate and see whatever can be done. Do that. That is all mine. Now, I'm not allowing. Now this Sugandhar Sagar Roy. No, I'm not allowing. Sugandhar Sagar Roy. Yes, no, I'm not allowing that. He knows that. India, that is Bharat, shall be a Sugandhar Sagar Roy. India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. Number 1. That is constitution. Now, private members business. I am not allowing private members business. So, now, Sri Basavaraj Patel to speak. I am not allowing. Basavaraj Patel. I am not allowing. Sri Basavaraj Patel. Yes, you can. Basavaraj Patel.
मान्य सभापति जी,
Yeah, you can walk out. Basavaraj Patel. 425. That's over. Yeah, now I am coming. I have taken prior to my business.
Only one clarification.
That
Are
is-
you planning to bring any other bill, legislation, granting this
No.
special status?
But I think what, in simple language, what
No, I am not allowing.
Sir, when I say a point of order, why you are not denying, why you are denying?
Why point of what are, see, this is called filibustering.
Sir, this is
I
not
am
about
telling
this
you.
issue, sir.
You see, time is 4:30. See, deliberately delaying. You have nothing point of order. What is the point? What point has been broken here? Unnecessarily, you are a vice chairman. I can't understand your way of doing it.
Sir, you
know,
allow everyone.
see, there is a
Even
private.
during 0 hour, you allow point of order, sir. But I am
Is
on
it
a
my
very
fault?
serious issue, sir.
0 over you have broken.
I am
Is it
very
my
serious. I am
fault?
on a very serious
You
issue,
come
sir.
here and sit here and you are vice chairman. Come here. Come here. You do it.
Sir, how
No,
are you,
yes,
sir?
do it. No, you do it.
How you, sir?
See, you should have a sense of timing. I am telling you. See, we were to start the
By
fight.
this time I would have conveyed what I wanted,
no,
sir.
I see. I can no. See, don't misunderstand me. I can understand any other member doing it. You are a vice chairman. You should have a sense of timing. It is already 4:30. Today is Friday. No, today is Friday. 2.5 hours needed for private members' business. Already 4:30. I feel guilty. That is my problem. And a vice chairman is raising point of order. What is there so great? Nobody has violated code. Okay, all right. Then you come here and sit until the house adjourns.
Defense Minister.
He is not saying. He said nothing more. He said he is not answering. Huh? He said no. He said no. I saw him saying no. Okay. Yes. I am not.
Important issue. The defense minister gave an assurance to the House.
No, you say point of order, only point of order.
That's
Nothing
all.
else. What is
The
under
point
what
of order
rule?
is 239, sir.
239. 239. See.
You ask me rule, I'm prepared to go.
Yeah, I will go by rule only.
Also vice chairman.
That is vice chairman should behave as his vice chairman.
Yes, sir. But as a member also has some duties to perform, sir.
Yes, question to be asked through chairman. That is only rule for raising.
To seek some...
What is the rule violated here? Tell me.
No, sir, some explanation. To seek some explanation, I can through the chair. That's it.
To whom?
Through the chair, sir.
You are asking whom?
The government, sir.
Government, the finance minister is gone.
No, sir. Not about that Andhra issue, sir.
Okay.
The defense minister
All right.
gave an assurance to the House yesterday that he would give a clarification to the members tomorrow at 2:30 in the House, sir.
Yeah.
But at 2:30 you said, sir, the Andhra discussion will take place.
Yeah.
We agreed to that. And now the private member resolution is taken up.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if nothing is heard from the government, this is a very serious issue. 29 families are standing out.
Yes.
29 lives are
I got
missing,
your
sir.
point.
So let the government tell me why, when
No.
the minister will be here.
I'll tell you.
Please.
I'll tell you. Yes. Even though it is not a point of order, it is a relevant issue. It is not a point of order, it's a relevant issue. See, this morning, no, I will tell you, I know what the position. I know the position. I am also part of that decision. In the morning, it was decided in presence of the Honorable Chairman that at 2:30, we will take a Andhra discussion. By 3:30, that was the thinking that by 3:30, we will take private members bill and a private members resolution. Immediately after, the clarification on this issue we raised, which is very important. Therefore, that is the understanding to the minister. I hope the minister will be back here by 6 p.m. By 6:30, 6 p.m., 6:30, the Honorable Minister will come here, will be coming. That is the understanding. That is why the minister is not here. That is the position. So let us wait. Now, it is not, now I agree. You made a relevant point. Yeah, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Thank you for raising it. Thank you for raising it. Now, it is already 4:30. Let us, 2 hours 30 minutes private members, then that means up to 7. It will go, today is Friday. Let us see. Let us work. Okay. Now,